Hi, I'm Brady.
I'm April, and we're Mermaid Addiction.
Thanks for coming back for another video with us. Today we want to talk about something that is probably the thing that worried us the most about going on a Virgin Voyage, and that was what do we expect? How wild is it? How crazy is it? We were really curious too because we've always heard it's adults only and it's a whole different experience, but I never really could find like an exact explanation of what's going on. Virgin likes to say that we're not for everyone, but we have something for everyone. And to the average person, that just sounds weird. But once you get on board and you check the ship out, you understand there really is something for everyone.
We like to think of it as a luxury resort at sea. Whether you want to relax during the day by the pool or get involved with the different fitness activities, and then you're looking for a social nighttime scene, it's got something for everyone.
Very active sports. There's a basketball court. They play dodgeball sometimes. There's a running track that's pretty busy all day with people staying in shape, jogging, walking, and it's really cool to take a walk around the top of a cruise ship while you're at sea.
There's a lot of group exercise classes that are available to book on the app as well. You will not be able to book these ahead of time. Once you're on board the ship, then you can bring up the daily itineraries and sign up for these specific classes.
There's certain things that they try to reserve for once you get on board because um, to make it a level playing field, basically, because ahead of time you book your dining reservations, but then when you get on board, that's when you can book some of the extra activities, some of the special shows are booked once on board. That just kind of gives everybody a chance to get to see the shows because I feel like if they did that ahead of time, it would fill up and then you wouldn't be able to go to a show. So that's a nice fair way to do things.
It gives you time to plan out your daily activities throughout your cruise. That way, you can kind of have an idea of what you're going to be looking forward to each day.
What I found interesting was that the daytime was quiet. You get up in the morning, you think you slept in, you got up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you go to walk around the ship and it's quiet. I feel like the whole schedule on board is shifted towards the night. I don't want to scare you and say it's like a crazy late night cruise. I just feel like a lot of the action happens in the afternoon and the evening. Um, we had people from 21 years old to seem like 81 years old on our cruise. I know the average age for Virgin cruisers is in the high 40s now. So it's not like a college frat party full of 20-year-olds, and it's not like going on another branded cruise where you feel like you're the youngest person there. I feel like there is really a nice variety of age ranges on board. We get there on the first night and they have a pajama party. It started at what, about 10,
Hmm.
I guess, which we were like, wow, that's late. And we got there and it was packed. And some of the most dressed up people were probably in their late 70s out there having an absolute blast. And it's really just, we were like, what do you expect when they say pajama party? It's literally just DJ playing some music, everybody grabbing some drinks and hanging out. And they're just in their pajamas. And it's not anything scary. It was, I would say, tame for the most part. There's a couple of people that wear some interesting pajamas, but it wasn't it wasn't anything I had built up in my head like, well, what's going to go on here, and it was completely fine.
Depending on the time of the year that you do cruise, the pajama parties could be a Christmas themed pajama. Um, so just keep that in mind when you are cruising and you're getting ready to pack and what time of the year you are cruising on.
As your travel planner, it's our job to know, is it going to be a Christmas theme, is it going to be a Halloween theme, and let you know. We also generally like to have Facebook groups for each sailing so that everybody who's sailing together can get in there and discuss their plans. And generally there's always somebody that's in the know and knows exactly like what's going to go on and what night's going to be what. um, it's important to know the basics of things to pack. You always want to have your Scarlet Night outfit, which we'll discuss in a minute, your pajama party outfit. Another theme night is like it's an unofficial formal night called We Fancy, and there was a lot of shimmery dresses and shiny shoes, and everything is totally optional. They one of the things about Virgin is it's very unstructured. They kind of let you do things your way. So we do highly encourage participating in Scarlet Night just because I feel like 90% of the ship is dressed in red for Scarlet Night.
It's so fun.
It's really the best night of the whole cruise. But things like We Fancy, they're optional. So don't feel obligated. Like when you go on some other cruise lines, it seems like there's always a dress code for the restaurants, and certain nights are formal nights. And Virgin likes to break the mold as far as regular cruises go.
Yes.
And that translates to a lot of things. The most obvious one is the lack of announcements.
This was a huge plus.
Everything you need to know is in the app, including embarkation times and what time you need to be back on board. They'll post signs around. There's really nice digital signage in all of the main elevator banks.
If you want a paper copy, if that's more your speed, you can pick those up at guest services.
Yeah, they do still have a nice daily planner.
Another way that Virgin breaks away from the standard mold of cruising is you will not receive luggage tags ahead of your cruise. So, with traditional cruise lines, you will be able to get them mailed to your house or you'll print them out online. With Virgin, you will not receive those, you will not print them, and you will pick them up when you arrive at the port.
I found that when we arrived at the port, number one, the parking garage was right across the street. And I mean, like, it's probably the closest garage I've ever seen to a cruise port.
We cruised out of Miami for our cruise.
Yes, Virgin is currently only sailing out of Miami in the US, and they have a beautiful port area, um, private garage. You park there, you walk across literally a two-lane street, and you're there. The check-in area is outside. There's a staging area for you to line up if you're early. So when you get a boarding time, they want you to show up during that window to check into the ship. If you get there early, they can line you up by boarding time. They'll probably have a line that says 4 o'clock boarding, and you'll get in line there. However, this may not always be the case, but when we got there for we had a 4:30 boarding time. We got there about 3 o'clock. We basically walked right in.
Mm-hmm.
They were running very efficiently.
It was the
Um,
easiest boarding process I've ever encountered with any cruise line.
it really was. I think we were from parking to getting on the ship was probably 10 minutes, it felt like.
Yeah.
When you get to the garage, you unload your bags. The porters will actually then put luggage tags on your bags, take your checked bags. You'll keep whatever you want to take with you on the ship. You'll park, or let's say you're in an Uber, you'll just get out of your Uber and drop your luggage off and walk in, depending on how you're doing it. But I always keep a backpack or maybe a small carry-on to bring on certain things that I want to have immediate access to. If you're going to bring any wine or any bottled drinks, those have to be in your carry-on as well. You can have one bottle of wine per adult or one six-pack of beer or some kind of beverage per adult as well. So I always take advantage of that, put it in my carry-on, and just roll it right onto the ship with me.
And Virgin is very environmentally friendly, so no plastic.
Right. Definitely want to stick with aluminum. There are some cardboard options out there for bottled water now as well that I've used before that were fine, but definitely stick to aluminum cans, and your wine will be in a glass bottle. That's fine.
This is also the time that you will be given the band. This is going to be your room key when you're on the ship, as well as how you're going to charge different items to your room.
The band is a small plastic made completely of recycled materials, and a band that they've also partnered with an environmentally friendly company. As soon as you get checked in, they wrap your band and show you how to put it on your arm, and it stays with you the whole cruise. It's waterproof, it's everything proof. I don't think I took mine off even to shower,
No,
honestly.
yeah.
You can just leave it on, but that's going to get you into your room. That's going to pay for your drinks. That's going to get you on and off the ship as well. They do still recommend that you carry an ID with you when you get off at any ports. But as far as getting on and off the ship, your band is what is going to let them know you're off and let them know you're back on.
The band is also connected to your sailor loot and bar tab. So any of your charging on the ship will be deducted from those amounts.
And your bar tab is it's Virgin's answer to a drink package. Instead of buying a certain package for drinks, you can say, okay, how much do I think I'm going to drink on this cruise? And if you buy a $300 bar tab, they give you $50 free to go with it. So that's kind of an incentive to prepay for some of your drink.
That's another nice thing that Virgin does, because then you're not stuck paying a daily rate for a drink package every single day when you might not be able to drink that amount of drinks that will make it worthwhile for an official drink package.
Example would be if we're in port all day from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., you're not on the ship, you're not taking full advantage of your prepaid package, so there's no point in having it. You can also add to your bar tab at any point while you're on board. You just don't get the special discounted rate when it's done on board. So you have to do it before you get on. So you can kind of gauge, how many drinks do you think you're going to drink a day? The drink prices are very fair. Beers start at $7 and mixed drinks start around 12. So you can kind of use that to gauge like how much you think you need to prepay. And if you're not sure, we can always help you out.
I found it very affordable, and the drink costs also include your gratuity, which is really nice.
One thing I cannot stand when I'm on other cruise brands is messing with receipts and tip lines. Even if you have a drink package on another cruise line, whenever you walk up and order a drink, they still print out a receipt and you still have to handwrite in the tip and you're still doing the math in your head. And even on,
I'm on vacation. I don't want to do
no,
math.
I don't want to do math and I don't want to, it's just one more piece of paper to worry about. Um, Virgin, it's I want this drink. Band, thank you. That's it. No guessing on how much to tip or what's, the bartenders all treat you as if you're tipping them like the best client there. So you don't have to worry about bad service.
The service, in my opinion, was outstanding. There was a couple times where the bar would be a little bit crowded. You're going to find that on Scarlet Night, or on Pajama Night, but that's to be expected. I mean, everybody's going to be around one area, so there's going to be a lot of people that are going to those certain bars. But even then, like, it wasn't a long wait. The service was super fast. Everybody's just phenomenal
Just
on the
having
ship.
it, the
Yeah.
bartenders are having a good time. They're
Yeah.
joking around, they're laughing. Nobody was nobody was stiff feeling.
Yeah.
And speaking of Scarlet Knight, I wanted to kind of circle back because, like I said before, Scarlet Knight is the star of the cruise. Um, Going in, I was like, whatever, we're all going to dress red. And they say, oh, it's a party. Everybody gets on the deck. And I'm like, I'm not really a party like guy. It was a little intimidating at first. So I dressed in gray slacks, a black shirt, and a red tie.
Did you feel like you were overdressed?
It was a range. Like I felt like I was dressed probably the median. There were some people that had extra fancy outfits on. There were some people that had literally a red t-shirt and red shorts. And we were eating in the fancy restaurant that night. We were eating in the Wake.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy 2 tables over had on gym shorts and a red shirt. That was just to me a perfect example of how accepting everybody is. It's like it's really laid back. You never have to feel underdressed or overdressed. I think the only rule is no tank tops
Mm-hmm.
for men and no cutoffs as far as shorts go, or I guess cutoff sleeves as well.
We're all adults. They leave it up to us.
Yeah, and even then, I still don't even know if they would say anything to you. They'd probably be like, okay, great, whatever. But that's if you're looking for an official, rule, no tank tops at dinner is probably the only one that I tried to follow. I'm kind of a tank top guy, so that was tough. Wearing a t-shirt's dressing up for me. Um, so we went to dinner. The Scarlet Party started, I think, at 9:45 or 10. Um, we got up to the top deck somewhat, I mean, close to the time it started because our dinner was a little later that night, and we
We did
went.
the pre-show.
We did.
Hmm.
So there is a interesting story of Scarlet Night show that the Madam does. Each ship, by the way, while we're on that subject, has a Madam and a Diva. The Madam is kind of like what I would call the entertainment
Hmm.
host. She does a couple of her own special shows where she does cabaret type singing. Um, she does the story of Scarlet Night, which is a very interestingly told story of the octopus and why that is part of Scarlet Night. I won't spoil the
Yeah.
story, but it's definitely it's an interesting story, and they kind of tie everything together. So we went to that pre-show, headed upstairs. Top deck was full.
Yes.
The pool is in the middle, and the pool is an interesting setup. So it's like three sections. The two outer sections are ankle deep water, kind of like a wading pool. And then there's a deeper, maybe 4 foot deep part in the middle, maybe even 3.5. Nobody's in the pool or anything like that. Everybody's around the pool. Everybody's dressed in a wide variety of outfits. I did see some of the crazier outfits that night for sure. Some people really had some interesting things on.
You do you.
Yeah. You do whatever is comfortable for you. I would say nothing was R rated or anything like that,
No, I didn't find
but
anything offensive.
it was, I mean, PG-13 at best. Um, but the diva, who is the host of the entire cruise,
Fabulous.
always, always a fabulous queen, going to be the MC of all the events, anything pajama party, Scarlet Night, whatever. It gets started with her coming out, welcoming everybody, and starting the party. Um, so the diva came out, announced the festivities. The music kicked into high gear. Next thing you know,
We're in the pool.
splash. Some people literally jumped right into the 3 foot section of the pool in their clothes. Some people um, started wading into the outer ankle deep sections, but the pool, you couldn't even see the
Yeah.
bottom. There were so many people in it.
It was great. Everybody was having an amazing time. It was great.
My number one tip for guys and girls alike is maybe switch to flip-flops before you go upstairs. If you're wearing pants, either roll them up or switch to shorts, because everybody got in the pool and I was like, I'm not doing that. And 10 minutes later, I was taking my socks and shoes
In the
off.
pool.
You look around, there's a pile of socks and shoes everywhere. Some people just got in their socks and shoes, which I did not do. Um, but that, Virgin is always trying to push you to get involved.
Yes.
It really is about, I don't want to say getting out of your comfort zone because that sounds scary, but
But everybody gets a little bit intimidated sometimes of interacting and doing the different activities and stuff like that. And they just, especially the diva, like she just has a way of, making everyone feel comfortable, and everybody's there on vacation. Everybody's there to have a good time. So might as well have fun.
and once you realize that other people are definitely doing something they maybe normally wouldn't do out of their comfort zone, it makes you feel better doing it as well. I'm not like a big time dancer or partier type, and by the end of that night, I was back in my college years,
What time did we
at a
go to bed
club.
that night? 4?
It was so late. There's an after party after the main pool party that didn't even start until 12, I think. And that was like I don't want to say rave, but like DJ.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of
That's downstairs in the club.
Speaking of that, I have to say I found that you shift your whole day more towards the evening. I think we touched on that a little bit earlier, but I just want to reiterate because this is like a what to expect kind of video, and I find myself sleeping until at least 8 or 9. I mean,
Mm,
not going crazy, but if you're like a 6 a.m. person, it's going to be tough to go to a show at 10:30 or a dance party at 1 o'clock, um, unless you take a nice long nap in the middle of the day, which
yeah.
also would be fine.
I think it's a great example between the two of us too, because generally you sleep later.
Yeah,
I'm an early riser. I usually wake up at 6. And there was one night where I was like, no, no, I'm going to bed early. And he chose to go out to a show. Went to bed and went to sleep. But I did find that I was sleeping in later in the morning because we were doing a lot more activities at night. Um, and you can always fit in a nap during the day too if you need to. We just snooze by the pool.
the days are so chill. I feel like it's easy to get a nap in. I mean, even by the pool on the decks, it's not just chairs and loungers.
Yeah.
There's beds.
Yeah.
There are full like I'd say they're like double or queen size beds.
And that's something that I appreciated. You never didn't have a spot.
Yeah, you weren't fighting for chairs. You weren't fighting like the only place that I would say is high demand is directly around the pool. Like the pool is surrounded by some day beds. Those were probably the ones people grabbed and held onto all day.
Yeah.
Um, we found not until halfway through the cruise or later that on the aft or the rear of the ship, there is a beautiful deck down there called
The dock.
the dock that is basically just beds and chairs with wait staff, a couple of bars, live
Mhm.
entertainment. It was quiet till about lunchtime, and then they brought out
A
a,
band.
yeah, they are a band. It's a pair,
Hmm.
right? Um, and they did like contemporary songs. They did Spanish songs. Um, that was
Amazing food.
yeah.
Amazing food.
The food there was like the Mediterranean style, so like octopus,
I think we ordered
shrimp.
one of everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's included.
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we'll just have one of everything and try it. And I mean, they encourage you to do that at dinner, at the different, snack places. If you're not sure, order it all because this is your chance to try something new and not have to pay for it.
And I was blown away with the food. Every single thing that we had was just amazing. I am big seafood eater. My husband is not. Everything that he got, he absolutely loved. Everything that I got, I absolutely loved. You guys loved everything that you had.
I we are still talking about
Yeah.
it almost every day to somebody about how good the food was. It was not your typical cruise experience. There's not a big dining hall. You're not surrounded by 500 to 1,000 people while you're eating. It literally feels like you're at a mall and you're walking around. Okay, there's a Mexican restaurant. Okay, there's an Italian restaurant. There's a steakhouse. There's, I think, 6 total main sit down restaurants.
Hmm.
Um, they do recommend reservations for them, which we'll probably make a whole
Yeah.
video just about restaurant reservations because um,
It can be challenging.
it can be challenging, but if you are persistent with it and do it right, you can really kind of take control of your cruise. Um, I promise we will make an entire
Yeah.
video just on booking restaurants because that'll be a big help to you when you start planning your cruise.
Yeah, that's a big one. And one thing that I really loved is eh, not only how good the food was, because usually when you're on cruise ships and they're cooking for that amount of people, like the food is going to get kind of lackluster sometimes. That never happened. Another thing too, every morning when we would go to the galley for breakfast, we never had a problem. it never feels overcrowded. And that's what I appreciated. And we were always able, we ended up getting the same table almost every
Yeah.
morning at breakfast after we would go to the galley. And it was just an amazing view outside, sitting there, waking up to that and just eating breakfast. And it was just amazing.
And that is a good point. Like it never felt crowded.
Hmm.
The only time that everybody was in one place was for shows and parties.
Yes.
Like we would we were eating breakfast 9ish in the mornings, which I would think is pretty popular breakfast time. We'd have food within 10 minutes and we walked out to the same table every day, overlooking the ocean.
It's amazing.
And yeah, that's definitely going to be something we aim to do on every cruise is that same dining situation because it was great. Another thing to talk about for expectations is the shows. They are definitely unlike any other cruise ship we've ever been on, for sure. Um, the shows are not in a huge setting like you would normally picture on a cruise if you've been on one before. There is no large 1,000-person theater.
Hmm.
Their main venue, I would say, is a few hundred people. They do scheduled shows so that you can sign up for when you want to go to a show. Um, you can't book any of those until you actually get on board. So it kind of goes back to what we were saying about the level playing field is once you're on board, that's when you start getting on your show bookings. We had heard mixed things about like everybody always says the shows are so unique and the Virgin has won an award for the best shows at sea, but I never really got a glimpse into what's going to happen with the shows till we got on board. So it was kind of like seeing a movie that you'd never seen the previews for, which I thought was a good way to experience it. But we just wanted to touch on a little bit like of each show so that you kind of know what you want to sign up for because we blindly were like, I guess we'll try that. I guess we'll try that. And if you know what they're going to be, you can kind of prioritize which ones are going to be important to you.
Number one, don't miss the Misbehave show.
We did that on our first day. They run that show at least 2 or 3 days. It is the same show, so once you've seen it once, unless you just want to see the same show again, you don't have to.
Which I would have gone and seen it
I
again.
probably would have. It just was sold out by the time that we decided to do it. Um,
It was hilarious.
I can't even describe the show.
It was
Every
chaos.
every time someone asks about it, I'm like, it was great. Why
it
was it great?
I don't know.
I
It
don't
was
know.
just complete chaos. And what I loved is the interaction with the audience. Like everybody in that audience was interacting. So that was great to see.
So think of stadium seating and a stage, cardboard signs plastered everywhere with the most random things written on them that make no sense at all. Um, you're looking around the room before the show starts,
What is
like,
this?
what is this? The host and their assistant come out and basically have a stack of cardboard, and each one has a topic or a game or a cue to do something, and it just gets more and more random the longer you go.
It was so great.
Um, but it's think of like a variety show.
Yes.
There's some dancing, there's some music, there's some chugging contests, there's um, which side of the room is louder, which side of the room is quieter. It's just definitely it should be number one on your list to check out because I feel like it really sets the tone
Yeah.
for the cruise. Like for us, it kind of gave us a glimpse into what the rest of the cruise was going to be like because it's just that different.
And depending on your cruise itinerary is when you're going to, how many times each show is going to play. Like we did an 8 night. Um, so I think I want to say like 2 or 3 times they were playing that.
They based on the length of your cruise, they will try and spread out shows to where everybody has a chance to see them. I know it's chances are there may be one that you miss just for whatever reason. Maybe your dinner reservation is at the same time or something like
Or
that.
you need to sleep in that
Or yeah, or
night.
that's one of your tired days. But I would say I think they do at least all the shows that we're going to talk about once on
Hmm.
every cruise.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, on a 4 night, it's going to be more condensed, and there's not going to be as many repeat shows. Um, but you can kind of take our explanation of everything and kind of narrow down like which ones you think you're going to want to do the most.
And at least you'll be a little bit familiar too when you open up your app and you get on the ship and you look at the itineraries and you'd be like, okay, misbehaved. Yeah, that's definitely one I want to grab. Another great one was the ship show.
The ship show I never even heard of ahead of time. We got on board. We didn't even, honestly, I think we glossed over it the first couple of days of our eight
Yeah.
night because we were like, for lack of a better term, just uninterested.
Yeah.
But then we found out that it's actually a dinner show. So, on top of all the restaurants, this particular show that happens, I think, twice a night on at least three of the nights on our cruise. Basically, you go in, you sit down. It's a circular auditorium with the stage kind of in the middle.
Upstairs seating.
Yeah, upstairs and downstairs. There wasn't really a bad seat in there.
Mm-mm.
The show starts, waiters come around, you pick from a menu, and they start bringing out food while the show's going on. And that was like a variety show, and I mean some very talented.
Very talented.
Think like carnival esque,
Yeah.
balancing acts and um,
Skating.
yes, roller skating, people stacking boards on top
Oh,
of something that rolls back and forth. Very nerve wracking,
yeah. I had to
but
look away a lot of times. I filmed, but I looked away. Um, it made my heart drop a lot of the things that they were doing, but it was
so
amazing to watch.
and that was really cool. That's called It's a Ship Show.
Mm.
Uh, and that one I would probably prioritize as well because I feel like it was very popular. The closest thing to like a traditional show would probably be dual reality. Um, think of like a modernized Romeo and Juliet, except with acrobats. Um,
Would you say it's
very
like a Cirque
Yeah,
show?
like if you've ever seen Cirque du Soleil, like that kind of, there's some trapeze, there's some seesaw jumping, but all of that is the kind of turned into a modern day take on Romeo and Juliet. Um, no spoken word, all acting out for the most part, and they really they use their talents to tell the story in a very unique way. That's a very popular one, and I think that show has won a lot of awards um, for Virgin because it's so unique. Probably the most unique show was the one that I caught on the night that April went to bed early. It didn't even start until I think 10:30, and in the schedule it's called Untitled Dance Show Thing, which if you're curious like me, you have to go see like what that even means. My first thought was, oh no, I don't want to dance. Um,
You don't want to go in the
I
pool. You
don't,
don't want to dance.
like I'm kind of I'm kind of a stick in the mud sometimes about that. But the cruise really brought me out of my shell. So we walk in to the room. It's wide open, no chairs, nothing. There's just a stage in the middle of the room, and then there's a stage off to the side. There's a lot of video screens that weren't there before. That room is so versatile. They can change this room from seats on this side to seats on both sides to no seats, video screens. Like it's a really interesting room. It's called the Red Room, and that's like the main venue that they use for all these shows. All these shows are in the same room, and every show it's set up completely different. Like you feel like you're in a different room.
Mhm.
Definitely very innovative. So we've got these screens around. We've got club music, kind of like I think the Percolator was playing when we walked in there. Everybody's just kind of standing around like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? The lights go down. Some things come up on the screen. A skeleton guy like welcomes you. And then the performers come out. They're all in like neon outfits, and they start doing some choreographed dance, and then um, they encourage everybody to dance along, which honestly, like, not everybody did at first. It was kind of, everybody was kind of like, I don't know what to do. But they're dancing, the stage starts moving, the stage moves off to the side, they join the crowd. The way they really got everybody involved was they pulled out the classics. They pulled out, I think, the booty call, the electric slide, the cha-cha slide, the wobble. I call them wedding dance party songs. That really kind of broke everybody out, and from there it just turned into basically a dance club for the remainder. But a lot of really quirky surprises in there. Like I don't want to spoil them for you because I don't want, but it's definitely worth checking out. I felt like it was probably the most fun show that we did. Um,
I was sad I missed it.
and it was, and honestly, they ran it once. I don't think they did it again, or I take that back. They ran it twice, but the first one we made it to, and the second one was sold out. So
Oh,
so
yes.
so
Yes.
April and her husband couldn't go.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer. But that's just kind of one of the things you have to be vigilant of is the shows. And get on the app and try and book your shows as soon as you can.
And a lot of new shows are coming out too, since Virgin is a newer cruise line. They're getting the feel from the clients of, you know, is this, something that everybody enjoys? That I know the activities committees, they come up with a lot of ideas on their own. So they put together shows, and so definitely just check everything out that is to offer as far as the shows. Um, just take a look at your itineraries again, and just, reserve different things, and try it. See what you like. So you're not going to know until you go and actually see it.
And I promise you that it's going to be different than anything you've ever done before, but it's going to stick with you, and you're going to just want to do it again and again.
Hmm.
We we went into this cruise skeptical, honestly, because we've done every other cruise line, and this has always been the one that's like, is this
Is it
wild?
is it so crazy?
Is it crazy? Is it going to be too over the top for us? We didn't know, and it took a day of being on board, and we were hooked.
Yeah.
We both went and booked two more of them.
Yep.
You can book your next cruise online and say, or not, you can book your next cruise on the ship and get a ton of freebies and a ton of extra savings. We'll probably have an entire
Yeah.
other video just going over that because it is by far the boldest deal
Definitely worth it.
that any cruise line offers. Like they want you to get back on board, and they really incentivize it. But it's crazy. I feel like
Yeah.
I asked the booking. I I asked the My Next Virgin Voyage agent how many people book another cruise, and they said typically 40 to 50% of the ship.
That's a high
That's
percentage.
incredibly high.
That says a lot about how good it is when once you're on the ship, and you actually see, it's just a completely different vibe from other cruise lines, and that's what makes it so special. And the adults only is a game changer, complete game changer. I mean, we have ours scheduled for a couple months out from now, and I'd be surprised if we even wait that long. I think we need a filler
We
cruise in
we
between.
literally are trying to figure out when we can squeeze another one
Yeah.
in.
We definitely want to get a lot more content out to you guys, so we need to get on a ship sooner than later.
We do, and it just going on another branded cruise recently just reminded me how much I need to
Yeah.
get back on a Virgin ship,
Yeah.
because everything that we love about it is everything that we don't like about other cruise lines.
Yeah.
So,
Not knocking other cruise lines,
no.
but it's different.
So our ultimate goal is to get you familiar with Virgin and everything it has to offer and to get you on board. We want nothing more than for everyone to experience Virgin Voyages and see the difference, because it it truly, we don't have to do anything else after you get on board. You're going to be obsessed with it and you're going to love it, because we have that much confidence in the
Hmm.
product. If you'd like to book a cruise, please reach out to us. We'd love to give you the best deal possible, and on top of that, we give all of our clients an extra $100 of sailor loot to spend on board.
Hmm.
That's $100 absolutely free, costs you nothing extra, and you get to spend that on drinks or merch or excursions.
Plus, not to mention, you can get additional bar tab from Virgin, so you get a lot of things. There's a lot of perks with Virgin. The Wi-Fi is included. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, the, yeah. We should probably talk about just the basics that you're going to get with a voyage. Whenever you book a cruise, the price you pay is going to cover your room, your taxes, your port fees, your gratuities, and that includes to your stewards, to your waiters, to your bartenders. You're not even going to use the word tip once you're on board.
Hmm.
It's all included. Everyone on board knows they're getting paid ahead of time, so you don't have to think about gratuities. They won't accept your tips. They're not allowed to accept your tips. It's your Wi-Fi is included. They like to say Wi-Fi is a basic human right.
Yep.
Um,
And it was great
and it
Wi-Fi.
was great.
We chose because we didn't know. So we both chose to purchase the premium Wi-Fi, and our spouses didn't. And honestly, they could do everything that we could do with the premium Wi-Fi. So the next time, like, we won't even purchase that.
The only reason that you would need to purchase premium Wi-Fi would be if you were actively uploading videos, like, or if you really need your TikTok,
Yeah,
or if you need to watch videos, I'd probably go with the premium. But otherwise,
it was great.
email, text, even basic Facebook scrolling, as long as you're not streaming a bunch of video, it worked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in and out really. It wasn't spotty. It when you're on a cruise, when you're in port, there's always like better Wi-Fi, and you can always, if you have a cellular phone company like Verizon, you can pay and have phone service for the day. But when you're at sea is when you really find yourself wishing you had the
Yeah,
ability to reach loved ones or something like that, and the Wi-Fi package covers that for sure.
it was great.
We will always make sure to let you know, you're getting all of this included for this one price, so that you're not getting nickel and dimed,
Yeah.
because you might see a deal on a different cruise line that is, more enticing,
But
but
once you start adding in all those other extras, it becomes high. Like the pricing gets high really quick.
because you have to add in the Wi-Fi, you have to add in the gratuity. On Virgin, it's all premium. There is no, here's the basic dining room and then here's the premium restaurants. It's just the premium restaurants.
And they were phenomenal.
There's not a buffet, there's a galley. So instead of a mass line of just going down and picking your food, it's a food court. You walk in, do I want sushi, which is available all day, by the way? Do I want ramen? Do I want
Good ramen.
do I want breakfast all day? Do I want a salad, build your own salad bowl? Do I want a burrito? Do I want tacos? it's literally a choose your own adventure as far as that goes.
They even have a grab and go section in the galley, which is really nice too. So if you just want to quickly go in there, they have different refrigerators set up and you can just grab something really
Yeah,
quick.
if you don't have time to go select or build a salad or a sandwich, there's even a section of, and they're in Tupperware with good locking lids, ready to go. You can be like, "Well, sandwich, salad, boom, I got to
Yeah.
go." Take it back to the room or wherever you're going. We'd like to know, what other videos would you like to see? Do you have any glaring questions that you just really want answered that you can't find the answer to online? We've been there, we've experienced it. We'd love to go into depth
Hmm.
about anything. So please put your comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. It's really important to our visibility that you give us a like, give us a follow, share us with a friend. We're trying to be your source for everything Virgin Voyages and make sure to have you fully prepared for your cruise. And we would love to help you find a cruise that fits your needs and get you booked. Don't forget that we can offer you an extra $100 on top of whatever the current special is. It never costs anything extra to book with us. We don't charge you a fee. We don't charge you a planning fee. We don't charge you anything extra. We just book your cruise for you, make sure you're ready, answer all your questions, and give you extra money.
We want you to have the best time like we did.
We want you to experience it for yourself, because I guarantee you, you'll do it again, you'll tell your friends, and you'll want to go back.
With your friends.
You're right. We went and immediately we're like, okay,
Everybody's coming on the
everybody's
next one.
coming. The next one, you have to come. You have to come. And even our friends who are also travel planners are like, oh, I
I'm
don't
not
know. And we're like,
sure.
no, you just need to be
Yeah.
sure, because I promise you it'll change your mind.
Dive in. You won't regret it.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. If you'd like more information or to talk to us, our website is mermaid-addiction.com. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/mermaidaddict. You can reach out to us anytime.